Tokenomics. Now, with the pending or impending TGE on January 21st, I thought this is something somewhat critical to talk about and to spread more information about. So I'll give a really brief overview of SUMR Tokenomics and kind of everything you need to know about SUMR, the token. So underlying all of this is the rise of on-chain yield. So DeFi is growing even regardless of the sort of recent pullback in DeFi TVL. The ecosystem itself is growing a lot. And a critical part of that growth is the notion of on-chain lending and, its critical role in sort of, just providing a very useful and powerful use case for DeFi, which is, yield. Now, this goes beyond stablecoins. It also goes into the sort of native asset of the Ethereum ecosystem, which is, of course, ETH. And Ethereum is where sort of the majority of DeFi is taking place. And there's an incredible report from Galaxy Research, actually, that, talks about all of the different types of yield in DeFi, and how underlying all of these different yields and yield sources and all of this different stuff is fragmentation and complexity, which is kind of the cost of the incredible growth of yield within DeFi. And this is kind of exactly what Lazy Summer exists to eliminate. So fragmentation is a really critical problem, and Lazy Summer eliminates this by delivering automated, high quality yield access to the most trusted protocols on chain. And this is really the kind of summer opportunity. So as stablecoin market cap grows, as on-chain AUM grows, as yield gets even more sophisticated, for example, new curators coming on chain and providing even more sophisticated strategies or differentiated strategies for users of both DeFi native and institutional ilks, let's say. This is going to get even more complex, and that is going to even show the power of Lazy Summer even more. Now, getting into SUMR itself and the SUMR token, to understand the tokenomics and why SUMR is even valuable or could be valuable as a token, is understanding the underlying promise of the protocol and the product that the protocol delivers. Now, this protocol, or Lazy Summer, really hits upon just a few things that are just really powerful for end users or depositors in the protocol. So first is above benchmark yield, giving users, automated access to yield that is going to be above, the vanilla benchmarks in DeFi, which of course saves users a bunch of time, automated rebalancing, automated deploying into different strategies. This is all time and effort that users don't have to use themselves. And that results in no yield chasing. So as you can see, a great example here, users in the past getting automated exposure to these new yield sources that just are automatically added via governance into different vaults. And risk is also curated at the from a third party for all different vaults, so that users' capital is never overexposed to one single strategy or overexposed to one single protocol, which is all transparent and understandable on the UI. And of course, this is highly liquid, very deep markets that users are getting access to because they're the most trusted protocols in DeFi, and users are getting sort of diverse exposure across all of these different protocols. Now, okay, that is the value proposition, so to speak, or the promise that is delivered on by the protocol, and the result of that for Lazy Summer is a very straightforward business model, which is vault revenue. And this is kind of the economic engine of the SUMR token. So as TVL grows, as people or users want to access automated exposure to the best DeFi yields, revenue is simply generated from a simple fee on these deposits. And you can see a breakdown here of sort of assumptions of these different fee structures or fees that are generated at different levels of TVL. And where does this revenue go? From the perspective of SUMR holders and SUMR stakers, it goes somewhat directly to them, which is it goes to the treasury of the Lazy SUMR protocol, which is majority controlled by SUMR holders, as well as SUMR stakers who, by staking in Lazy SUMR the protocol, they get direct access to revenue share in the form of USDC. Now, that's kind of all of the demand side, revenue, delivering on the protocol promise. This is top line revenue, top line growth, which is very important, obviously. But there's another side of this, which is the sort of supply side and the notion of SUMR supply dynamics and how that works, and really the design or the tokenomics of the SUMR token allow for a really positive flywheel to take place. And the mechanism here is, again, fairly straightforward, where some holders have to lock their SUMR token for, in some cases, in all cases, if they want the maximum yield, they have to lock up their token for up to 3 years. And this is, conviction-based locking that effectively removes supply from the market. And this can really drive really incredible flywheel where SUMR emissions on the public vaults attract deposits into Lazy SUMR. That TVL drives revenue higher, and that revenue sort of drives demand for the SUMR token, so to get access to that revenue. And that locking, in order to get access to that revenue, locking on the SUMR token further drives, supply shocks, basically, by reducing float of the SUMR token, which, comes full circle back to the first point where, given the higher effective price of the token, will make the yields on or the rewards for the SUMR token on the public vaults look more attractive in a real yield sense. And we've already have seen this start to happen with staking that is live and SUMR stakers that have locked their SUMR, where almost 20% of stake SUMR is already locked for more than two years, which is pretty incredible to see. Now, all of this, the supply dynamics and tokenomics of the SUMR token, the revenue and the business model of the token, and the underlying product itself and the value proposition of the protocol and the product that it delivers, is really, dependent on, to a degree, the underlying wind at the back of the market, so to speak, which is really great. So, Bitwise, a prominent, crypto fund, in their recent report for the 2026 predictions, sees ETFs 2.0, what they call on-chain vaults, growing, double in 20, which is incredible. So all of these things, all of these different factors are lining up for the SUMR token, and the SUMR token having really incredible or really important place in the market of, on-chain vaults and the growth of on-chain yield. Now, within this article that's going to be linked, you can also see the SUMR token supply dynamics, and which is of course very important for any potential allocator or person interested in the token, which are all details you can see in this blog. But fundamentally, on-chain yield is a market that's growing, and as it grows, it's getting even more complex and even more fragmented, which increases the utility and increases the demand for things like Lazy SUMR with a token on top that has a really clean and simple mechanism to accrue value. Now, this is super important given the sort of new era for Lazy SUMR and the SUMR token, which is on January 21st, SUMR starts trading. So yeah, this is just a very useful introduction or somewhat deep dive into the SUMR token and its underlying tokenomics and how it's positioned in the rise of on-chain yield.